Hey guys, this is Adam Wincher with Defenders USA. Hey, this is a video for instructors out there, right? Handgun instructors or firearms instructors or really the self-defense world instructors. So I just got done with a 2.5-day training course or training courses in the southeast Denver area. Friday evening we ran a concealed carry course, and I think we had 15 or 16 people in there. Saturday all day on the range we had a handgun fundamentals, and I think we had 17 or 18 shooters that day. I think it was 17 or 18, and it ranged the gamut. You know how it is, anywhere from brand new shooters who never touched a gun in their life to really high-end shooters. It went really well. I think a lot of learning happened, and just an amazing group of people. By the way, I had a couple ladies there from A Girl and a Gun. What a cool organization. So good to have some of those ladies there from the Denver area A Girl and a Gun chapters. Had a couple Marines, former Marines, boy, just incredible people, great shooters. And of course we had one of my favorites, Dave Heidi. Just an incredible man, great shooter, and just anyways, it was so cool to have those folks there. Oh, by the way, Rick Hess was there. If you guys haven't seen Rick or Richard Hess on the Defenders USA YouTube videos, there's a couple on there with him. Probably should go read those. He's actually got a pretty cool story about the defense of life with a gun. Anyways, then all day today, on Sunday, we had a handgun speed and precision course, which we also threw in some of the fighting or combat aspects of a handgun, right? Really learning to fight with a gun above and beyond just the speed and precision. I think we had 9 or 10 shooters today. So anyways, good groups for the whole week, and it was a great class. But here's what I want to talk to you, certified instructors or firearms instructors or people who teach this stuff to others. Understand you have a mission to do this and do this very well, not just in communicating to the students, but also you have to have a very, very high skill level in what it is you're teaching. I look at it as kind of like college. If you want to be a college teacher, in my mind, you should have probably a master's degree level in the area that you're teaching in, right? Or you should be working towards that master's degree level to be teaching the college level. Just like if you're going to teach high school, you should at least have a college degree, right? You should always have skill above and beyond the area you're teaching people to, and just constantly growing that skill. So what I've noticed, there's kind of a theme amongst a lot of firearms instructors that they don't demonstrate the skill that they need to their students, right? Or I don't see a lot of demonstrations in some of the courses I go to. When I first became a certified firearms instructor, I ran off to one of the larger instructor certification training programs that's out there, and I mean, it's a pretty big one. It's a pretty big one, and pretty well known. And in there, they kind of threw out the idea that, hey, you shouldn't be demonstrating to your students too much, right? I mean, they use the excuse that you're wasting ammo, that, you know, what if it didn't go very well and you look like you kind of sucked? You know, and really kind of the idea was, if you can't explain to them what you're trying to do and articulate it simply enough and well enough the student understands it mentally and can just do it themselves, then you're not a very good instructor. I've found over time, and as you guys and girls know, that most people are not most, some people and many people I find are visual learners. When I see somebody else demonstrate, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me now, okay? So I'm somewhat of a visual learner myself. And what I found I've done is I have started, well, some years ago, I started throwing away that stupid philosophy of don't demonstrate to your students. And I demo like crazy. In fact, as you guys know, right, the plumber's house never gets plumbed. Just like us gun trainers, oftentimes we don't get gun training if we don't purposely go out to gun schools ourselves, or we don't spend time in really focused training ourselves. And so what I've found is, for me, oftentimes my own classes are some of my own training, because I push my students to do so much that I want to be able to do that and even better, because I got to demonstrate it to them. To that purpose, here's how I've kind of prepared myself. I am constantly in training, whether it's through dry fire training, under the tutelage of other people who I believe are better than me or who can push me. And I also go off to a lot of gun schools. In fact, I think since the beginning of April, and right now it's June 13th, 2021. So this is the beginning of, or the mid of April of this year alone. If I've calculated right, I've been off to 72 or 78 hours of gun school out of my own pocket, going to some of the best trainers in the world, right? I mean, I've had to travel to Chicago, other different places, all the way from Colorado. In fact, soon I'm heading off to several more gun schools, I think in 2 weeks. And I got to go to Arkansas to go to 2 different gun schools there, right? I was lucky enough to have a couple high-end trainers like Mike Seeklander, Rob Latham, some others come into my area where I live. So that was able to keep me from having to have travel expenses and you know, hotels and food and all. But I've purposely spent the money as a certified fire instructor to grow my craft and to grow my skills and to have myself challenged like crazy and to learn and to grow. It's been great benefit, as you guys know. I'm asking you boys and girls who are certified fire instructors to always be willing to find some of the very best trainers out there and go get your get your crap pushed in, right? Get yourself challenged and pushed. Learn, grow new skill sets, find new things, work on those things, because when it comes time for you to work in front of students, you need to be able to demo those tasks that you're trying to teach them and do it at such a very high level that it almost leaves your students like, wow, right? Amazed at it. You've got to be good at it. You've got to be good. And I've seen fire instructors step up to the line because they want to demo it occasionally, because they've not been practicing. All of a sudden, the wheels come off the bus and they look like the idiot that, well, they just do. Now, I get it. We oftentimes have a bad day. But they obviously hadn't put the time in. We, for the benefit of our students, have to put the time in. We have to put the time in. At the same time, I'd like to suggest that you need to be comfortable with failing or not hitting your optimal. If you've got to go up to your line, or when you're demonstrating to your students with a handgun, a rifle, or whatever it is, a sniper rifle, and you're going to do a demonstration for them, right? If you have to always absolutely be perfect every time, then one, you're not human, and two, it doesn't help your students see that you too have to struggle and fight for it. I did a ton of demonstrations this weekend, right? I would say a ton, but I did enough demonstrations to really cement in the minds of my students, this is exactly how you do it. This is why you do it. And this is the method of how you should do this, because it's the most efficient, whatever. And I pushed myself, right? Pushing hard. And at times, I failed. Now, I'm not saying there were horrible, terrible failures, right? But maybe I missed by 1/4 of an inch somewhere. Or maybe I was slightly off here, or something like that. I mean, there was a couple demonstrations on this moving and running thing that I'm doing that I actually stole from Gabe White, of Gabe White Training. Guys, girls, go see Gabe White. Phenomenal trainer. I stole it from him. And there was some times there that I missed what I was trying to do. I mean, almost to the point I was almost embarrassed. I had to go back and work at it again. So they got to see, my students got to see that I too was pushing myself so that I could work towards getting this better. So you've got to build the skills. You've got to go off to your gun schools. If you're going to teach this stuff, you are wrong. You are dead out, flat wrong to not be going off to training. You're dead flat wrong to not spend your time in dry fire and not spend your time in pushing yourself. And then also confirming it with live rounds on target outside of dry fire. Buy a Mantis X system, right? Get their laser academy. Do dry fire. Find somebody who's really good at this and let them push you while you push them. Go off to training with some of the best trainers that you can find out there, the truly good trainers, and build and build and build and build your skills. And then make sure that you are able to demonstrate your skills to your students with an extremely high degree of skill, but also be comfortable failing. Let them see that, hey, I'm not saying you got to miss on purpose or something like that. I'm just saying you need to push it. You need to push it. And if it's not exactly perfect, your students get to see that, hey, even somebody who hopefully is highly proficient, highly skilled, has to fight, struggle, and train too. So just a message to you guys. This is something I've done. I spent a lot of time in demos recently, or not recently, in the last couple of years. I find it's my also time for training, and it really helps me, especially when those eyes are on me. Oftentimes they're pulling out their cameras and they're video recording me, right? Because, well, it's oftentimes better than what they can do, and hopefully they'll go back and watch those videos and learn from it, and learn to mimic that stuff and figure out all the tiny nuances. But you get the idea. If you're a firearms instructor and you are not demonstrating to your students at a decent level, whether it's in dry fire, preferably live fire with them, then I just think you're wrong. And if you're doing it because your skill levels aren't there high enough, that you aren't confident you'll always do it, or darn near always do it, or if you do miss, it'll be just, enough to where it's understandable because of human, then again, I just think you're wrong. We have, I believe, a moral obligation. If we're going to teach this stuff, we must be good at it. Very good at it. I hate that mantra of those who can't teach, those who can do. I've always been the guy that I want to be able to do and teach. And I'm asking you to not be those who can't teach person. Be the one that who can does, right? Be the highly skilled, proficient person that you need to be for the sake of your students. Anyways, guys, girls, Adam Winch, Defenders USA. If you like this, like, share, whatever else. It's on our YouTube channel, of course. But like, share, subscribe to that. Post your comments. Tell me where you think I'm full of it. All that other stuff. But anyways, Adam Winch, Defenders USA. And hey, thanks for listening to this. And sorry about all the bumpiness. I'm kind of on a rough road here. Take care.